Hello my brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be painting the structures from Necromunda Ash Wastes, courtesy of Andy from Wigan Wargames and Roleplay Group, and we'll start off by going over all of them with the Army Painter's Rough Iron paints, or metallic paints. It's from the airbrush paint set that the Army Painter sent me out to review, and that's why you're seeing the logo at the top right hand corner of the screen. And we are going to be going through all of the models, all of the structures, and covering these completely with this. But first we need to wait for a second because I'd forgotten something. What had I forgotten? I'd forgotten to put my reading glasses on, so everything was slightly blurred, and I knew I was going to be going into a bit more detail later on, so I thought I'd better go and get them now before we start properly. So they're on and we're ready, and as I say, we're covering all of this, or all of these structures, with the rough iron. And this is a paint that I really like to use under metallics. If I'm going to be using metallics for anything, I usually base coat with rough iron. I think it's a lovely paint. It gives a nice deep texture, shall we say, a deepness to the paints that you wouldn't get with black. I don't think it looks as though it's metal that's been painted over a metal paint, and it gives like a nice shadow. I don't know, I'm just waffling now at this precise moment in time. I could be right, I could be wrong, I don't know, but I know what I'm trying to say and it's just not coming out properly. Ah well, never mind. I just like the look of this. If you miss anywhere with the metallic paint, this gives a good background to it. That's all right to say. A little bit more light getting involved here because it's looking a little dark. I'm not getting the light everywhere it needs to go, but I'm hoping it helps you to see exactly what I'm doing as we go on with this video. Now this takes a lot of time to do because there's quite a few of these structures, and it takes its toll, and you'll see what I mean shortly. But as I said, we're just blasting through, trying to get these done as quick as we can with the airbrush. I really wish I had some of this as like a rattle can to get this done quicker, but we used the airbrush and we got most of it done. Yeah, as I said, we got most of it done with the airbrush. But we start struggling around here. What I hadn't realised is that the compressor had decided it was going to overheat and close down. So what we're doing now is just thinning the paint down a little bit more and getting the brush and taking it straight out of the airbrush cup. We're not wasting the paint. We're just going to take the paint out of the airbrush cup and finish off painting and covering everywhere we need to cover with it, and yeah, not a problem. We didn't really need to thin it down, but we did. Now moving on to the model metallics paints, and this is gunmetal, and we're giving this, like for want of a better word, a zenithal highlight. We're shooting straight down from the top near enough, or at least at a 45-degree angle from above, and we're just trying to make it look as though this is being hit by light, and we're giving a nice excuse me, and we're giving a nice bright area to these so we can work on it in a little bit more detail later on. I'm trying to avoid that cloth awning over that doorway, but overspray is overspray and it gets where you don't want it to go. Ah well, never mind, we can sort it out later, that's not a problem. Now we're moving over to True Copper, the metallics from Army Painter. Again, this is part of the same sets that the rough iron came from, and here we're just trying to pick out a few individual pieces to make it look as though it's a different type of metal completely. Now going over with the gunmetal gave it a brighter colour to paint over than the rough iron, and therefore it will hopefully, because it's thin enough, make it look brighter on the model. Now I keep having to take a sip of a drink because I'm getting over a cold at the moment and my voice is a little croaky, so if I do start coughing or sounding a little hoarse, you know why. So we'll go through this, picking out different parts of the structures. No rhyme or reason to this, I'm just picking out anything that I fancy picking out. That's basically it, that's the only criteria I have. If it looks as though it would be nice in this colour, this is the colour I'm painting it. Simple as. So I'm painting around the doors, I'm painting the doors. Any patch, I'm not painting it as a flat colour, I'm painting it rather patchy. We can sort something out later on. It gives it a very good base to work with. We can add rust patches, we can add all sorts of different things afterwards. The only thing that's stopping us is our imagination with this, but I just don't want it to look completely flat coloured. And there we are, we're carrying on round the doorways. As you can see, a little bit of overspray on that awning, but that can't be helped. So we're also, for some strange reason, decided to do the lamps that colour as well. I'm going back over those lamps shortly, so it spoiled everything I did, but never mind. Going in with the brush for some areas because it was a bit difficult trying to get in there with the airbrush because of the way the cup was. Now Gorgon Hide, and this we are just going to be painting over that awning because the overspray was getting on my nerves and I wanted to sort it out. So we're just going over this. We're not doing a very good coverage, we're just changing that black, we're just brightening it up a little bit because I don't want it black, I don't want it a dark colour. So just cover it with that and hope for the best. And that's the way I'm looking at it anyway. And yeah, it disguises it, it makes it look a little nicer. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be wonderful because we're going over in a bit, as you can see there. Now I did this off camera because I forgot to press record, and I basically just went over with a little more Gorgon Hide to give it a second coat. Because it looked too patchy for what I wanted it to do. And then what I did was using the airbrush, I used Imp Yellow again from the airbrush set that or the air paint set that Army Painter sent us, and I sprayed over the awning, and then after that I did the whole model with the airbrush, this wash FX paint from Vallejo, and I went over every structure with that, and this is where we carry on. Shining Silver metallic paint now. This is again the Army Painter, but it's not one of the paints that they sent me to review, so we're just going to go over and pick out all the metallic, all the highlights of it and the raised areas with this as a really strong dry brush. We're not faffing about with this, we're just slapping the paint on. There's no finesse with this whatsoever. It's just get as much paint off the brush as you can and then just slap it on. Just run the brush over and pick out any of the high points on the model, just to give it that little more texture, because that's what I'm looking for here, just texture. I'm not looking for anything other than that. And we'll go over each of these, going the base parts. I'm not going higher up on the underneath. Now matte white, and this is again the airbrush paint, so it should have the airbrush logo there, and we're going over all the lights with this, and here we can make it look as though the lights are actually on. So we're starting off with this as basically the undercoat for it, just to show that it is actually or just so that the following paint will look a little brighter as we put it on. Now we're not going we're not doing this incredibly tidy. Any overspray will look as though it's light. Demonic yellow is the colour that we're going to be using for the actual light effect itself. If this, we'll put this over the white, and along with the white it will look as though the light is shining. Fingers crossed it gives it that look anyway. At least I hope it does. This is the effect I'm looking at. So yellow lights that are going around these habitats buildings, and now we'll get palette cam, our palette, we'll go CD palette out and matte black and my painter paint, and this is where we can just pick out some areas just to paint black, just again to give it just that different colour. It's we're not looking to make everything incredibly metallic, so certain areas you can go over with black to make them look a little more interesting. You can always like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and if you do that, don't forget to ring the bell. In that way you won't miss any future videos. And if you'd like to help out the channel, if you think it's the videos are useful, you can become a patron like our producer here, and you can also buy me a coffee, or you can buy me a coffee. The choice is yours. You can do both if you so wish, but yeah, money's tight at the moment, I understand that, so if you can only do one, I would appreciate any little help you can do. But we're coming to the end of this video. We're just, as I say, going into the just picking out these black areas. That's all we're doing, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found some use out of it, and until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.